Hey everybody, I recorded a video a while back of some editing for some light painting automotive photography that we did, and I don't know, somebody must have posted the video on a forum somewhere or something, but it kind of blew up a little bit. Figured I would take the time to make a new video, just give you guys some updated tips, some tricks that we've learned. We've learned a lot doing this automotive photography since then, and wanted to just show you guys a few things that we've picked up on. The first trick that I would recommend when you're shooting a car, cars are important to people, or they wouldn't be asking you to take the pictures of it. And everybody has something about their car that is important, something that they love, something that's unique or cool. For example, on this Alpha that we shot, Alfa Romeo 4C owners are very big fans of, if you look inside the headlight, there is, right in this area, that resolve, obviously not in this picture, but on one of these, it says 4C, inside that headlight. And we wanted to make sure that we got, this might be it. Yeah, so inside this headlight it says 4C, and we made sure, this is the picture right here I think, and we wanted to make sure that we got that 4C in focus and looking good for the photo. Here's the end result, and you can see that we really pulled that out of this frame. This image got posted to an Alpha 4C forum, and quite a few people actually commented on this picture, talking about how much they liked that you could see that inside the headlight. So the first one would be find something neat, something unique, talk to the owner. Hey, what do you like about your car? What's really cool? Maybe there's a pearlescent to the paint that you might not notice. Maybe there's a sticker that they want to make sure that you see, something like that, but just find something and draw attention to it. It'll mean a little bit more, adding that personal touch. The second thing would be find out which angles for the light make the car look good. Here is, we're doing a frontal shot, and you can see this angle is a whole lot of light being thrown across the paint here, as opposed to like this one. We get a lot more of the highlights, we get a lot deeper reds in the paint. We're missing a little bit here. I think we brought out more of that hood in the, yeah, there's the end result. We brought out more of that red, but wanted to bring out more of the deep reds in the paint as opposed to some of these shots where there's just light all over it. The best thing to do is to put your eye right next to the camera, and without even shooting, just have your assistant walk around with the light and plan a path for them. When Kelsey and I are shooting these, very often she'll walk a few times back and forth, and we'll place little pebbles out, and you know, I'll say, oh, a little further back, a little to your right, and we'll plan out a route, and we'll place something so that she knows where to walk. And in the end, so here's an example of basically what this looks like and what we're looking for. If you really pay attention here to where this light is, I have my eye right down by the camera, and I was just watching this light as it traveled along the edge of the paint and just making sure that she found a route where all of the highlights were really well emphasized. And in the end, when we get the end result, you can see here that highlight all along the edge was really well defined. The third tip actually transitions really well from this video. Get the owner involved in the shooting if you can, if you want to. You'll notice that there are two lights here, one that Kelsey's holding in the back, but you'll notice here on the front there's some light just sort of painting back and forth. We wanted to bring out some of the fill in the car. And so I actually handed the owner, he was standing by and looked like he wanted to be involved, and I gave him a light and said, hey, why don't you, shine this on the front of the car, and we're just looking to fill in some light on the paint. And he loved that. And once again, you're providing a little bit of personal touch and making the photos mean just a little bit more. Some people might not be all about that. They're going to be like, hey, we hired you, do your job. But other people would appreciate getting involved, so it doesn't hurt to ask. Kind of going back to the angles, different kinds of paint are going to appreciate different angles of light. Trying to find a good example here, but this red, it really gobbled up a lot of the light. We had to really do a lot of filling on this red. We shot, where's this GTO, was similar, where it was very difficult to get much light on the GTO. And so we ended up having to do a lot of just really bright filling in. This M3 was kind of similar. The red alpha really took a lot of fill in order to bring out a lot of the red on this car. On the flip side, if we look at like a white or a silver or something like that, this Evo that we just shot, in a lot of these, it just, it got really blown out, and it makes the car look rather flat. So when we were doing a lot of these side shooting, this path that she was walking was right over, she's holding the light pretty much directly over the car, and that allowed this shadow accent to really come out along the side here. When she was, and even more emphasized here, when she's off on the side like this, you can see the side of the car really kind of flattens out a little bit. As emphasized here, it's just really flat. But when you get the light right up and over the car, it gets a little more dynamic. So experiment with the car that you've got and, move the light around a little bit and see what looks good and what doesn't. There's going to be different cars are all going to appreciate different angles of light. Also, if you did see the other video that I made where I edited the shot of this Elise here, I don't remember which was the end result of the one that I did, but there were like 5 or 6 layers that I blended on that one. One of the things that we've been working on here is trying to get one shot which is damn close to perfect. And it really makes the editing go much, much better. If you see this one, this was the end result photo, and this was the raw photo. It was very, very close to being exactly what we wanted. We did a little bit of cleanup on it, but we have found that spending a little bit more time in the field, it translates to much less time editing, and it also translates to just a better end result. And part of that is just Kelsey and I learning to work together a little better, learning which angles work well, learning how to manage the light and things like that. But a lot of it is just taking the time and paying attention when you're shooting. Like I said, put your head right down by the camera and just have your assistant walk around a little bit and see what looks good and what doesn't. Another really good example of that here. This was that Evo shoot, and this is just sort of looking for the right angle of light for the wheel. And just sit back by the camera and have your assistant move the light around until things look really good. And I think we ended up going with something right around here. We wanted some of the rotor, but not too much, and we wanted some of the reds, but still a nice dynamic, interesting light there. So, taking your time, paying attention to the light, plan your routes. Don't be afraid to switch things up a little bit and you know, make sure that you get the shot when you're in the field. There's nothing worse than getting back and starting to put things together and being like, oh man, I wish we had a better shot of the front bumper or something like that. This was actually one of the very first shoots that I did of my own car, and you can see I was just really struggling with this really deep green paint, trying to find, I ended up doing almost like a silhouette type look in the end, silhouette being a very technical term here. But this is something I plan on reshooting my own car now that I know what the heck I'm doing, because we really struggled with this in particular. Finally, keeping the light high, keeping the light out of the shot. If we go back to this alpha, we didn't end up using these. Oh, have your assistant wear dark clothes. That's something that, like on this Evo, I don't know if you can even really see, but we had her wearing black on black on black, and it just comes out much better. Your assistant doesn't show up. But even on this, we didn't end up using this with the light all over the paint like this, but you notice she's holding the light nice and high in the back. There's nothing worse than getting almost the perfect shot, but having this light right down under the paint like that. It's just completely unusable at that point, or at least not worth the effort of cleaning it up. There are a couple as well where right at the end she'll lower the light down thinking that she's out of the frame, and put a big light streak right through the middle of the car. It's a little bit frustrating sometimes. So keeping the light high is another tip. I think I'm going to do another editing video here. I need to edit these Evo shots still. I have a couple left to do. Just finished this one right here. Unfortunately, there was a street light off to the side here, which added a little too much light here. We didn't bring our blackout cloth for this shoot, which I wish that we had. But once again, you know, some of these, which one was it? Oh, I think this one was like the sky from this shot, and then pretty much the car from this one got put together to be that right there. I'm just trying to make sure that we have something super usable in just a single frame, and taking it from there. So I'm going to do another editing video here of this Evo, probably this front 3/4 shot here. If you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to post them in the comments. This is a little bit new for me. I'm not used to people actually caring about my YouTube videos, so let me know what you'd like to see. Let me know if you have questions. We do all sorts of photography, not just automotive, so any questions you have, just let me know.